Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis and Arundel County and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Monday, September 28th, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. The spate of violence is continuing in Annapolis. Last Wednesday morning, a man was shot in the leg. On Wednesday afternoon, a man was stabbed in the neck. And now, 2 more stabbings have the attention of the Annapolis Police Department. On Friday morning, September 25th, police responded to the unit block of Cypress Road for a stabbing. They located a male victim who was transported to a local hospital for injuries that were considered not life-threatening. While they were on the scene there was a report of a second victim at Tom Court, a short distance away. This victim was located and transported to the University of Maryland Shock Trauma Center by helicopter with life-threatening injuries. Police did say that property was stolen from one of the victims. They didn't identify which one it was. And anybody that has any information is urged to contact the police at 410-260-3439. Also on Friday morning, Arundel County firefighters responded to a 911 call from neighbors reporting an extensive amount of smoke and fire coming from a house in the 800 block of Generals Highway up in Millersville. Fire crews arrived in about 5 minutes and found fire coming from the basement, first and second floors of a 2-story home. They made an aggressive interior attack and rescued an elderly resident of the home from the first floor. Unfortunately, the 77-year-old female was declared deceased at the scene by paramedics. One firefighter did suffer minor burns and was transported to the Johns Hopkins Burn Center, and it took about 60 minutes to bring the fire under control. 2 adults and 1 child who were not in the home at the time but were displaced are being assisted by the Red Cross, and this is the county's 3rd fire fatality this year. 2 of them were back in May 16th in the 1400 block of Millwood Court in Cape St. Clair, and on May 14th in the 1500 block of Fairview Beach Road in Pasadena. Since we are approaching the time where we're going to be putting our clocks back an hour, just a reminder, you want to make sure you check your smoke alarms and change those batteries. Brian Frosch, the Attorney General for Maryland, is warning people about, yet again, more scams. This time it's involving individuals that are impersonating mortgage companies. Some of the scammers are calling existing customers of a mortgage company, claiming to be representatives of that company, and offering the customer a loan modification. They may ask you for your full name, address, date of birth, and even your social security number. Don't give it to them. In another scam, individuals posing as a mortgage company employee may call and tell you that you need to make a payment and that they may ask for a debit card or a credit card or a money order or even a gift card. Huge red flag. No legitimate company will ever ask you to buy gift cards to make payments. The third scam is to tell you to stop payment on your existing mortgage to make, quote, trial payments with them instead. They typically will email you or provide you with very official-looking documents. Don't do it. Telephone scams are very common. Caller IDs can be spoofed to display a legitimate company. When you see something like that, just let it go to voicemail. Let them leave a message and call back the number that's displayed on their official website or their official bill or paperwork that you get. Ask them if they called you and for what reason. That way you remain safe. If you have been scammed or if you think you may have, you want to report it to the state's Attorney General. You can call them at 410-576-6491, or you can email them at idtheft@oag.state.md. Annapolis Green is bringing National Drive Electric Week to Annapolis this week. Elvia Thompson, who is the co-founder of Annapolis Green, said this is about climate change and driving emissions free. About 80% of the carbon load on our atmosphere comes from the transportation. Driving electric is one thing almost everybody can do to combat the effects of climate change that threaten our planet without inconvenience. And it will save drivers money in the long run. Have we piqued your interest? They're calling this thing Kick Gas. Sort of a little bit of a pun there, but on Wednesday, the 30th, from 6 to 8 p.m., they're going to have a whole bunch of electric vehicles out on the avenue, on Maryland Avenue, in the recovery zone. So you can talk with owners and check them out and see what types of vehicles are available. On Thursday, the 1st, from 8 to 9:30 p.m., they're going to have a virtual Zoom presentation, and they'll be discussing more than 40 different plug-in vehicles. And they're also going to have a kickoff for the charging stations that are now at the Michael E. Bush Library on West Street. You want to go to AnnapolisGreen.com, get the Zoom information on that. And finally, Friday, October 2nd from 4 to 9 p.m., they're going to have a similar thing on West Street in the recovery zone. They're going to have 4 to 6 different electric vehicles there. They'll be parked on the street, so you'll be able to talk to people and learn a little bit more about them. All this information is available, AnnapolisGreen.com. If you want to get technical, put a /drive-electric after that. And finally, are you a fan of history? You want to make sure you check out that bonus podcast we dropped yesterday afternoon all about the Wilma Lee. She's 80 years old and ready for you to sail on her. And we do have another bonus podcast coming to you a little bit later this week about the hydroxylator. You can see what one local company has manufactured to keep other local companies COVID-free. That will be coming up later this week. But later on this morning, we do have Alsina with your Money Monday report. We do have George Young with your local DC MDVA weather. And all of that's coming up after this quick message from Solar Energy Services.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Monday, September 28th. Not a bad weekend on the whole across the Annapolis region, though it was a bit gray outside both days. And while today will bring more sunshine and highs near 80 degrees across all of Arundel County, clouds and rain will return Tuesday through Wednesday, possibly lasting into Thursday morning as well, as a strong cold front pushes through from the west, setting the stage for clearing conditions and colder temps late week through the weekend. Look for highs Tuesday through Thursday to be in the 70s, before high temps in the 60s Friday through Sunday, with lows ultimately dropping back down into the 40s and maybe even some 30s in spots by Sunday morning. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching DCMDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Store, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and use our website each day at DCMDVAweather.com. so you can always stay weather informed.
The Anne Arundel Economic Development Corporation wants to remind you that amid this global coronavirus pandemic, we've got to band together and care for those around us, support our community and the businesses that have worked so hard to safely reopen. So show some love for the shops selling the stuff that we can't get anywhere else, and the restaurants that sell food that's even better than home. And remember that the money that we spend here can keep Anne Arundel County strong. And by wearing masks and social distancing, we can keep workers safe and businesses open. So for our neighborhood, for our town, for our county, shop safe, shop local, shop Arundel Biz. Visit arundelbiz.org.
You work hard for your money. Is your money working hard for you? Managing and investing, it can be confusing. Ann Alsina, a financial planner from CovingtonAlsina, has been helping people make sense of it all for over 17 years. Are you ready? Now here's your Monday Money Report.
This is Ann Alsina of CovingtonAlsina with your Monday Money Report. We ended last week on a positive note, recovering some of the month's losses. While we're down for the month, the third quarter is still positive. Earlier in the month, the losses were coming from tech stocks and growth stocks. At the beginning of last week, we saw value in small caps declining. On Friday, tech stocks bounced back a bit, and the renewed consideration of another round of stimulus also helped. Last week, we gave you a high-level overview of annuities. This week, we'll take a deeper dive into variable annuities. If you remember, these are annuities that are invested in the market through separate accounts. Those are things that look a lot like mutual funds, but are only available through an insurance product. Variable annuities can lose value, but many of them have riders or contract additions available that may make them useful if you want a guaranteed income stream. Years ago, to receive that income stream, you had to annuitize your contract. That meant you gave up any access to the principal or money you had deposited. In turn, the insurance company made regular payments to you for a set period, usually life, which meant that if you lived to be 110, you had a pretty good deal. But if you died the month after annuitizing, not so good. And if you needed some of that big lump sum you gave the insurance company, well, better save those monthly checks. Enter the variety of income riders. Riders are provisions that add benefits to or amend the terms of a basic annuity contract. While there are different kinds of income riders, they essentially work the same way. The basic annuity works like a normal investment account. You put in money, choose the investments, and the value goes up or down depending on the market. If you decide to take money out or close the account, the value is whatever the account is worth that day. There's a second value that the rider provides. This is an income value. It typically increases with the value of your investments or at a predetermined minimum amount, whichever is greater. This value then locks in at set intervals. When you decide you want that monthly income, the insurance company guarantees you a percentage payout of that income value. Even if your cash value goes to zero, you still get that monthly payment. But if you need extra money, you can tap into whatever cash value you have remaining. Naturally, that's going to reduce future payments. But you haven't given up your ability to tap into the balance. And if you die, your heirs receive anything that's left. Some even have death benefits that return the entire initial premium to your heirs if there's any money left at all. That sounds amazing, I know. But there are all kinds of things you need to consider before you purchase an annuity. You're going to pay more for that annuity than you would for a regular investment account to cover the cost of making those guarantees. It's important to note that those guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the insurance company. One way we like to use annuities is to cover required expenses in retirement, rent or mortgage, healthcare, food. But if you have a pension or your Social Security is enough to cover those costs, or if you have enough assets, you might not need an annuity. Some questions to ask if you're being sold an annuity. Why this one from this company? Which other annuities did you consider? Is it a proprietary product that I can't move to another advisor in the future? How much are you being paid on this? How does this improve my financial plan outcome? Good things to know before you move forward. And if you want a second opinion, give us a call. We're happy to provide that for you. We also have some great educational events over the next 2 months, including virtual talks on Social Security and our Retire on Purpose and Women, Wine, and Wisdom seminars. You can register for these and more on our website, CovingtonAlsina.com, or check out our Facebook page to learn more. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SPCA. Investment advice offered through Great Valley Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Covington Alsina and Great Valley Advisor Group are separate entities from LPL Financial. All performance references historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Fixed and variable annuities are suitable for long-term investing, such as retirement investing. Gains from tax-deferred investments are taxable as ordinary income upon withdrawal. Guarantees are based on the claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals made prior to age 59.5 are subject to a 10% IRS tax penalty, and surrender charges may apply. Variable annuities are subject to market risk and may lose value. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial advisor, or tax advisor prior to investing. And if you don't have a financial advisor, come talk to us. This is Ann Alsina with Covington Alsina.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.